Okay, the next move, and I'll have you bring your legs up for this one, is the iliacus. So take a look at the iliacus and the psoas, and they attach to the lesser trochanter. Extremely important. And I'm going to show you a way that I believe is about as safe as you can possibly be, but it's important. You're not trying to bang this out now and make some, there's no end game. You just want to stimulate it. Maybe it'll soften, and in some cases, you can spend an entire session, the fifth session rolfing. A lot of it is quadriceps, rectus, iliacus, and psoas muscle. And that's it. So take your time. Here, take your thumb, and in the inside, this is the iliacus of the iliac crest. So here's where it attaches right here at the ilium. And I'm just cross-fibering it. Here's the bowl, and I'm come in like that, or take both fingers like this and cross fiber it like that. And you'll feel, you okay with this? Mm-hmm. You'll feel some spots that are pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to come around to the other side and show you from here. So you can see that you're kind of in here like this, and you can stabilize the legs doing this, cross fibering it, a little tight right here. It's an unusual place. You can see people's eyes get pretty wide like in their headlights. Ticklish. It's often a guarded spot. Very important thing to stimulate, to change. Now once you've done that, we've done both sides, I would repeat this process probably 2 or 3 times. Wait for 30 seconds to a minute, come back onto this from here. Again, it's had a minute or two, come back, stimulate it a little bit deeper, and then spend more time on the side that needed to work more than the other to free it. Once that's been done, and you've had sort of a conversation with this side, and you can feel a change in the tonicity, I don't think you have to do too much more. Allow that to run with itself, so to speak, and tune itself up without kind of pushing too hard. It's a very sensitive area. And next week, if need be, if they're still in, probably could very likely need another session. I tell people 2 or 3 sessions, at least, sometimes 3 to 5 sessions to get some real change in the lower back challenge. There it is again. Now I'm going to work the psoas. So the way I like to work the psoas, I know where it is. I'm going to bring this leg up. Psoas is essentially right very close to here. So here's your iliacus. We know that it comes essentially down here and attaches inside of the lesser trochanter. So it's going to be approximately somewhere in here. There's various ways to do that. What I like about this way, and the reason I think it's safe, is if I bring the knee back and then I hold it like this, and I ask Nicole to bring it gently toward her head. If I'm and I hold and resist against her, that psoas is going to pop up in my hand. Good, and relax. And one more time. And there it is right there. You okay? So then I'm just going to stimulate that movement like this, cross fibering it like this. Do my best to follow it up. I'm going to have a relax. Then I'm going to go to the other side. And I will probably do this 2 or 3 times. Bring this one up. You'll see a little bit better probably from this side. So here, we know the iliacus is here. You can also do the iliacus like this. 2 ways to do it. Across this way, or just curl your fingers around and cross fiber it. And you'll see a picture of the anatomy and get a sense of what the hand is doing. It's basically right at the attachment, and you're cross fibering it to get some change. Now right about here is going to be the psoas. Bring it back and relax. And now let me sink in, and then bring your knee back. I mean, she is in remarkably good shape. The psoas are, this particular set of psoas is about as good as I have seen in a long time. Again, dancers are are kind of a perfect combination of strong and flexed. So in order to have good movement, they have to have good range of motion. So a lot of their lunge type motion opens this up. This one's a tiny bit tighter. Bring your knee back to you again. Yeah, really excellent shape. The left one's a tad bit tighter than the right. And it's a little bit more lateral. So you can see that I'm doing this motion on it and this motion here. So that's your psoas move. And it's very important. You want to really take your time. And I like to do it last. I like for it to be pretty much the last thing that I do. If you do the quadratus lumborum, in my opinion, you need to do the psoas, because if you look at the anatomy, and here are your vertebrae, in the back of the body, on the deepest attachment transverse process, is the quadratus lumborum. Anteriorly, in front of the spine, are the deepest attachments, or the psoas. So if you work one, you really want to work both and get them both as evened up and as supple as you possibly can. And you create that space by first working in the quadriceps, because it's that sort of kinetic chain in the front of the body. So you work here first and open that, and open the pelvis and lengthen it, and then come up and work the psoas. So you're kind of opening and lengthening the entire front of the pelvis. This is sort of an auxiliary move, but I think it's important to do it because it's giving information to the brain about the psoas. She just happens to be very, very flexible and really good balanced tone. It's fun using a dancer. In my structural one, I used a ballet dancer, and it's so easy to work on them. Or if I used a weightlifter or a bodybuilder or a football player or some other person, you'd get a sense of, if you watch their faces, how much more imbalanced that they would be, or the tonicity of the musculature. So this is really, really simple for me to do this. So I would finish this session. This is sort of the end of it: iliacus, psoas, rectus abdominis, and the quadriceps. And that's the end of the 9-step protocol. I would end with a little bit, if you're trained in cranial, I would do a little, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of cranial at the end, and or I would do just some neck work for her to feel comfortable. And that's essentially the end of the 9-step protocol. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you put this work to use. I know that if you do this and you spend some time with this, your work will definitely change, and your ability to place the body in a more balanced position. And ultimately, if people have a long history of lower back issues, you'll be able to deal with that, and they will be in a much better position because you've looked at it in a holistic structural sense, as opposed to just finding the particular point of where they're in pain and dealing with that. This way you're going to hopefully integrate the entire structure, and their chances of having lower back issues are much less. And if they have an issue again, much more easily to get the body back into balance, much more quickly with a lot less difficulty. So thank you. Put it to use. We're always available for email conversations. If you need some information about how to apply it or some challenge that you have, do feel free to email us for any questions you might have, and we'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.